And welcome back to Terrafirmacraft. This is episode 6, and I'm very excited to be back with you today. On today's exciting episode, we are going to start doing some stuff with food. We are going to start doing some domestic stuff around the house as well, such as processing jute into fiber. And we're going to try to complete some of these quests here today. I do finally decide here to turn down the music, but I'm still dubbing over this just to get a good recording on this one last clip. Theoretically, our sound issues are going to be over very soon. So one quest here is to get seaweed, and we'll have to do that the next time we're in an ocean biome near where there's seaweed growing. Another option would be to do the jute fiber quest, and we will get to that. Animal husbandry requires us to deal with wheat, so hopefully we'll get to that as well. But I think the first one I'm going to do is the salad quest. In order to make a salad in this, normally you would just simply go to a food prep table, put some bowls down, and start mixing ingredients. However, because I have the Cooking with TFC mod, we're going to have to do it a little bit differently now. And what I mean by that is we're going to have to create a Cooking with TFC table, this food prep table. So we're going to need some lumber, some wood. So I'm going to grab some from my wood pile here, actually from the partial one. You won't need a lot, but just enough to make a table here. It's, you know, I didn't really, I don't think I should, yeah, so we need to use the lumber there and then the support beams there. Very similar recipe. I was just about to mention it's a somewhat similar recipe to a Thaumcraft table, Thaumcraft 4 table anyway, except for it uses the support beams and lumber. I think I'm going to move it over here next to this barrel. It kind of places weird. It places both at the same time, so you just, I don't know, there's probably a formula that it goes off of depending on what direction you're facing, but I don't really want to deal with it. This is fine. So you'll need a bowl. I'm going to grab 2. And you have to understand this is new to me, this Cooking with TFC stuff. That's really cool, how you can just set the bowl on the table like that, and it just kind of populates. It's so realistic. I love that sort of aspect to a mod. Okay, well, I guess we just throw the food right in. So there's watermelon. That is so... Can you imagine they had to create a separate texture for every single food in this game? I guess some of them were probably pretty related, but still, that's really cool. So you got green bell pepper and watermelon, not exactly an appetizing combo. And carrots. And how about elderberries? Okay. So there is our salad. I cut ahead there because I was struggling to figure out how to take the salad off the table. Turns out, according to the wiki, you have to shift right-click the bowl. So I remade that salad, and you just shift right-click, and you shift right-click, and now we've got a couple salads. Now, the salad will take as much ingredient as it needs to make the salad, and salads are, generally speaking, more nutritious as a food source than things like raw ingredients. So if I just ate those berries raw, it'd be okay. However, the salad, I think, maybe gives you more bang for your buck, and it certainly combines things, and it fulfills food group needs simultaneously without maxing out as easily. So in other words, trust me, you'll be a lot better off using salads and eventually sandwiches than you will without. So okay, so obviously I had to cheat in a vanilla salad there, a regular TFC salad I should say, because the Cooking with TFC salad was not registering on my quest there. So I cheated in a regular salad. Okay, I'm back now, and I'm going to go ahead and do the jute quest. And as you can see, these barrels have filled with water since the last episode. So I'm going to grab these jute fibers. I grabbed these from a previous harvest. I think I did it off camera. But I'll show you. Basically, jute is a fibrous plant that we find in nature that can be harvested and planted just like any other crop. Here it is. There's some over there across the lake as well. You just take the jute and you put it in a barrel. Jute stacks, unlike most crops, it stacks in numbers rather than weight, so it's convenient like that. But just put it in a barrel, seal it, and that'll eventually become jute fiber. And we'll put these seeds away. Okay. Oh, and I should mention, okay, so salads obviously are better quality food than single ingredient items. They will, yeah, that one is just massively restoring my hunger. So that's important to remember. I'm going to stick the rest of these bowls in this. Okay, so we'll wait on the wheat. I think I'll just wait to harvest that. Seaweed. Dream app, when you're inside, thinks you're in a cave, so it does cave mode. So can I find some seaweed quick? Let's see. These pumpkins, I'm very excited about the pumpkins. Oh, the peanuts are ready. Guess I could grab those. I'm gonna grab these peanuts before I forget. And we'll make a stop at the cellar in just a minute. More jute there. That one's almost done. This garlic's ready. These green beans are ready. Cabbage, not quite. Okay, so I'm looking for seaweed, and unfortunately, this marble biome doesn't seem to like coastal or water plants at all. So what we probably will need to do, actually I have an idea. I'll show you this place that we found last time. I'm gonna teleport. I think teleporting is probably the main form of quote-unquote cheating that we'll be doing in this playthrough. And the hope is that obviously that we don't need to do it too often. Okay, we got a nice melon, by the way. I think I'm gonna go and grab that too. Ooh, and there's some left over from when I was here. Oh, and bones and arrows. I'll take all of these. Thank you very much. Not so much the rotten flesh. Cute little. I was gonna say island. Maybe it's actually a little peninsula over there. We got some experience coming in here. We are in the phyllite biome. There's fish, and you can actually get those fish by attacking them with a weapon. But I am looking for seaweed very specifically. There's squash. Okay, so I'm not seeing any here. Maybe it grows farther south. Check out this one, Squid Spring Point, or I can check out Rye Island. Rye Island looks promising. Let's try Rye Island. Okay, let's try that. Okay, yeah, actually that's, well, this is a pond, it thinks. So it's fresh water, unfortunately. But I bet you it turns into salt water over here somewhere. Let's try Damp Lagoon. Yeah, unfortunately that's all fresh water too. Maybe over here? Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna have to follow up with this one at a later time. It's just taking too much time and we're not finding anything. So let's go back home. Okay. Then let's put stuff away. So we'll put these seeds in this chest like we usually do. The peanuts are new to the collection here, and let's get these garlics while we're at it. And these tomatoes. And we'll put these away in here as well. And let's stick these bottle of enchanting where the rest of them are. Let's try to get this here, yes. And then we'll go right over to our cellar. Might create a teleport to the cellar as well, just to save time or to allow for ease of transport. Okay, so that is pretty good. How are the grains doing? See, I just don't understand that. I do have plenty of wheat though, so why don't I just grab those quick. I don't know why it keeps putting my salads in my inventory whenever I do that, but okay, pick your whole grain. So it wants me to just have wheat. Got wheat. Got a whole thing of it. Doesn't want wheat grain. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this in half first. Oh, in order to make wheat grain now, you have to have going back to cooking with TerraFirmacraft. So on the TFC changes menu, it says grains are now refined by right-clicking the whole grain on a hard surface to place it. So can I just do that on the ground here, or is it gonna? I'm not sure if it's gonna recognize this ground. Okay, it does. Cool. And then next, you repeatedly left-click on the grain. Okay, and now we've got wheat grain. Okay, so that's the equivalent of cutting it with a knife from previous iterations. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, so this obviously isn't working, so let's just do this, I guess. Okay, so now we have 160 wheat grain, and that it's not working either. Okay. We did get the straw from that, like usual, so I guess I'll just condense this, and I'll have to check why that's not working, I guess. I'm not too worried about that particular quest, though, so should be. Why do I have oat? I don't know why I had oat. Okay, well anyway, but yeah, it's doing fine on as far as decay goes, I guess. I'm somewhat disappointed with the results of the cellar. I might actually turn down the decay rate because it does seem high, like higher than vanilla TFC should be. I'll look at that and make a decision. Okay, so that actually does help us a lot with some of those early Stone Age quests, or Neolithic quests for the budding archaeologists out there. And what we'll do now is I'm going to set this watermelon on the table just because I like how it looks. It won't go on the table, of course. This is the torch. Taking a look at the casting age, next things I need to do here are have some support beams in my inventory, and I wanted chestnut specifically, which I find ridiculous. But we do have chestnut, so boom, there we go. And boom goes the dynamite. As Cleveland would. Oh, that's only 25%. So I guess I have to do 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that should be enough. Like that. 32 is, I guess, what it wants. Even though it only said, I think it only said 4, but I got the satin spear. This is a mineral that is useless in the game. Well, that doesn't have any stated purpose in the game. I might find a made-up use for it later, but for now, we're just gonna do that. Another birch sapling. I guess I'll plant that. Okay, and it already recognizes my chisel, which is great. Ooh, and I have a choice between shale and basalt. I'm gonna choose the basalt. Okay, so I'll put this in the rocks and dirt chest. Put this bowl down. Okay, I think what I'd like to do now is yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna make lime water. Lime water is extremely important in this game, and you make it by, if you take a certain amount of a flux stone, such as marble. Actually, I need to create a hammer quick. And then let's grab a stick. But yeah, flux-stone in reality is used. I mean, it's a realistic thing. It's not. They didn't just make this up for the game. It's how actual steel is made. It's how you know, other things are made. Basically, it represents a balance against the putting coal or carbon into the iron steel making process. Okay, so throw that on there. So then you take your hammer. Ooh, what is this? I got a pecan. Oh yeah, this happened to me earlier. I got a pecan while harvesting the hickory. It's so weird, but that's cool, I guess. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is take your flux and your hammer and just make it into this stuff here, which is called flux. Then you're gonna want to take it over to a barrel. Doesn't matter which one. Yeah, just throw it in there, and it uses up 20 per barrel. So sure, I'm gonna leave it in a couple there. And I need to grab the remainder. Perfect. Okay, so I did, and that was a quest apparently, so I'm gonna grab all that. And we'll put it in here. We'll put the flux down here. And then one thing that you should think about doing at this point in the game, we got this marble earlier. I'll show you how we did it. We went up to a rock area such as this one here, and we simply carved out around the rock. So what we did was this. We created a situation where the block was not surrounded by any other block, and that's how we got the marble. Now, you can also get something called smooth stone by right-clicking with your chisel on your toolbar. Okay. So you can gather this up, and it looks like this. It's actually gravity observant and easy to manipulate. You don't have to use the technique I just showed you to harvest it, which is convenient. And it's actually something, if you're harvesting raw blocks, you should maybe think about making some of the counter blocks like that smooth. It just helps things along. You can't make all blocks smooth, like that one underneath I probably couldn't, but these two on top, usually you have to have a pretty good access to the block before the game will allow it to become a smooth block. But anyway, that's how you get stones like that. Then we'll come back here. If you take 3 raw stone plus a stick, you get a hand stone. If you take 3 smooth stone all by themselves, you get a corn base or corn base. Take your corn base and set it somewhere. Put the hand stone in the top slot there. And now we can crush things. And that's gonna give me an achievement. So let me make sure that I got, there's a quest, yeah, there was. Let's get those bottles of enchanting going. And I'll put the remaining rocks away. And let me just show you, for example, you can do that with a bone. Put your bone or whatever you're trying to crush in the thing. And you actually have to right click on the top of that pixel where the handle is. And bada bing, you've got something crushed. Now this is bone meal. You can do it with grains. You can do it with other items like some metals. Like if I were to do, let me show you something cool. One small malachite. You can do it with certain chemicals and things. But here I have this malachite powder, which turns into green dye, so I can dye stuff green now, as well as white with the bone meal. But it works on grains. It works on other stuff too. I'll get to that once we get there. So that is stones. Now here's another thing you can do with stone, and with lime water specifically. Get your lime water, throw some sand in it, and seal it, and it's going to give me an output of mortar. In the meantime, you can take a stack or so of your whatever brick type you have, put it in the grid with the chisel, and you get these marble bricks, or whatever your rock type is, bricks. Now we're going to need the sand to do much with those, so hopefully that doesn't take you too long to process. But yeah, I think that's where we're about to finish up this episode. It's a little bit shorter, I guess, but it's fine. It's a good episode. So, and I'll have to look for the seaweed off screen, and if I find it, maybe we'll start the next episode from there. Crops are coming along. Looking good. Cabbage is ready. I'll grab those. Tomatoes, grab those. I don't know what time these are going to be ready, but let's take a look at the jute. Okay, so the jute is actually ready. So we put 4 jute plants in, and we got jute fiber. Now I have to make a rope. So rope is made. So we actually need another jute before we can finish that quest up. So we'll wait on that for today. And I think that is going to do it for today's episode. Yeah, it's not ready yet. We'll pick it up here with bricks and stuff next time. Oh, I guess one little bonus. So I've been fooling around with these jack-o'-lanterns a little, and turns out that, so this is like cooking with TFC melon, right? Just an item that you plop down, and it looks kind of cool. Well, it turns out if you take your knife and right-click it rather, that's how you carve it. You get this sliced watermelon. I'm having a hell of a time getting the decay off. I must have a mod conflict. Maybe it's cooking with TFC. Anyway, so I got a seed from that, and you can grow more watermelons with the seed. But in the meantime, if you do the same thing with pumpkins, it gives you pumpkin seeds and a jack-o'-lantern. These are the jack-o'-lanterns. Now, if you take a torch and I guess you left-click it, these create a light source, and those stay on for 72 hours, so it's longer than your standard TFC torches. They don't transport with the light though, so I still prefer the infinite lights of the either a straight up Minecraft torch or the standard TFC torch. But these work in a pinch, and that's kind of cool. So there you go. There's your bonus ending stuff for this episode, and we will pick it up here next time. I'll keep harvesting, and we'll just continue to finish out this quest book. We've got quite a few quests to do here in the cast stage. We have to do Loom. We have to do bread, which is a whole thing now with cooking with TFC. Yeah, we've got to do bricks. We'll do that one next time. And then it wants me to get into smithing over here. Alcohol production, leather, a lot of stuff. So we'll get into that and more on the next episode of TerraFirmacraft. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.